it's VindaCator here from iPlayMore.com. Please stop. So I'm just trying to figure out how to do this. So that's just kind of where we're at with the vertical slice for Intrepid. Just gonna get the music going here now. So just kind of a mock-up of the movie. So basically, so first of all, really good news. Our story master who did the story, boy, this is like 18 months ago, maybe a little longer. So he did the voiceover for us. Kind of got that, English accent, Discovery Channel type voice. Just, it's absolutely perfect. Anyways, so I just had a feeling that that's a really good way to approach television. Pull an ace out of the old movie thing where you tell the story, you have some music, you're just using that's some of my time-lapse footage, and that it just fit absolutely perfect. So it's gonna make a lot more sense when the voice is in there and he's telling the story and all that kind of stuff. Then we got Ryan got some storyboards done. Now this is absolutely hilarious because we did storyboards for everything, all those things that we had, and then I put them in. It's just like, okay, we don't have enough time, so we cut everything back and just left it at the marmosets because that's the most entertaining thing. And then the big battle will happen and all that kind of stuff. So we still have to do a lot of storyboards. So week by week, we get a little bit more done. Last day of this month, so this is December. So the story master will come in and do his parts, and I'll mix it in. So probably early January, I'll have that mixed down and be able to see. So things are a little different today, but we'll just keep going. So make sure you go to iPlayMore.com, sign up for a video game test. And I've got everybody's names in here, so these are the people that worked on the various images that you're seeing. That's what that's all about. So that's the new logo that we did up for the website. So I just thought I'd start presenting that so we have kind of a common front. Looks pretty cool. And, thanks to Gabriel, he was the one that said, hey, give me something metallic. And so it's like, okay. And then I said, well, we got to have the iconic image because this is kind of what the gameplay is like. It's kind of like a Olympic sport. That was the idea that I worked with the brand manager. That's what we came up with. So this is where our game takes place, Milky Way Galaxy. Excuse me. And if you're an Earthling, all of our creatures have been teleported down this Carina arm, and they've ended up at the Stellar Jewel Box Nebula. That's what the story is going to be about, and it takes place right here. So NASA took this satellite image, so we put our little planet there, planet Nebulous Prime. And so it's gone through many iterations. If you go back to some of the older videos, it doesn't look like this at all. So this is me moving all of the arenas into a very specific place. Now I have removed Bear. I decided not to go with it. We had a crash last week. We're not updating it. We're going to rebuild it. It's going to be smaller. It's going to fit into. It's as big as this whole freaking world. So it's just too big. So I have a hard time believing that. Anyway, so what we're going to be showing today is Intrepid. We have everything else except for the Lager area. All these other arenas are all under development, which is very exciting. So we'll have the Island of Azure coming along. That's going to be great. And this is the metagame. So the metagame means that when you're winning and losing arenas, they count, they matter. And so this is going to be kind of like the screen selection. So after you finish playing an arena, you'll see this, and it'll show the map, and it'll be all real time, who's winning, losing, and then you can make a decision. If you're feeling hot, you can go fight the enemy on some of their territory. Of course, this is if you're Ken. I always talk as if I'm Ken. Or you can maybe try to take Bear. That's a neutral territory. You can see one more win from either team will, abscond that territory. So there we go. And then our climate system, just so we understand what kind of vegetation to have in each area. And this is the sky mock-up that I made. We've got a red and blue sun that are both going to be involved in a supernova, or supernovae, when you have two of them. And then I want some nice big moons in the sky, so I thought a red and blue would be good. So that's going to mock that up as a thing for us to remember. The scoreboard, we got a lot of work to do on this still. The market exchange, this is all just mock-up stuff for where I want to take this thing. But this is what's going to make it revolutionary. Our game is better than free-to-play. This is our well storage system. And basically the way that it works is you can use any gear, epic gear, if it's available. If somebody's purchased it and leveled it up and they're not playing, you can use it. So that's the way the free-to-play works. And then the better than free-to-play element is that all of this stuff, you can buy it for a package deal and then sell it for the prices listed. And all these prices increase in value and rarity over time. And so that's going to be really exciting to have that in place. We're working on it. We've got lots to do. So I have totally revamped all of our Scrum and user stories And so basically what's happening now, because a vertical slice means that you need to show, a near polished version of the game. Well, it is polished. It's a release version of the game. And we weren't thinking, well, that's Game Boy and stuff. But yeah, that's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm reading. So I thought, well, the first thing we're going to do is the spectator system, because that's going to give us our camera for cinematography and, spectators coming in. I watched a GDC video and they said it's so important. So I put it first. That's how important I think it is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to just use our devices, red and blue, and do it that way. So we're going to start very simply and put things in that are needed. All right, looking at the global game market, we're wrapping up this year. So we're focusing on 75% of the market. You're still doing niche marketing because you're focusing on the mobile and the PC, but when you put them together, it's 75% of the market. So it's pretty exciting. We're going to wrap up this year, and then we'll grab a new one of these. So very incredible news. I have brought in a co-founder, and that's been suggested to us by a group of potential investors in New York. Basically, their comment is that any company with a single founder is a red flag, and that means that they're probably not going to invest in a company that's red flagged. So their suggestion was to have a co-founder, and so not only have I found a co-founder, I found a fellow who has been on the Canadian television show Dragon's Den. He's pitched and he's closed two investors on that TV show. So very impressive. He's gone to school for pitching. He's got my Pitch Anything book and reading it, and he's starting to delve is the word I'm looking for. Delve into our documents and all that kind of stuff to learn about the game. And so it's kind of funny because I made 7 videos for investors, and I guess the lesson in that was that the guy that's working on the game shouldn't be pitching the investors, because they're not interested in the game, they're interested in what the investment opportunity is. And so anyways, he's watched I didn't think when I made all those videos I was making it for the co-founder. I thought, well, we're going to pitch all these videos. But actually, he said an interesting comment too. I said there's a stat that says that people need to see things 6 times, the 7th time they see it, they'll say yes. He says, because people are so bombarded by media, that's gone up to 12. Oh, so okay. So I guess my experiment failed. But anyways, he's watching all those videos, and that has totally inspired him on what we're making here. So, because his first question to me is, what's different about your game? And I said, man, what isn't? Because it's a completely unique game. So anyways, so he's going to be helping us with going to Epic. We're still going to send the executive producer there. And here's Epic again right here. But we want to pitch a publisher as well. So we want to bring not only a game publisher in, and I want to give Epic, because it's their game engine, first right of refusal on what we're making. And it's really starting to come along. I mean, things are still at a crawl because this financing thing is so lean. But now with the co-founder, and I've got some more news that I can't announce yet, but we're going to have 3 private investor sources to draw from. It just takes time to set these things up. I'm a busy guy doing 80 hours a week, so I'm doing the best I can. But we're going to go to the game publisher, and we're also going to go to television producers. Now, production companies. So now this is the thing. I took a course. I guess it's an introductory course. I didn't take the whole course, but they're saying that there is a gold rush on right now between Amazon, Netflix, HBO, and of course, you got YouTube, Facebook, Apple TV, all kinds of people jumping into this too. So we're going to just focus on the 3 top ones. And so we are working on our vertical slice teaser cinematic right now. So that was what you watched in the very beginning with the song and all that kind of stuff. We got a lot to do still, and all the animation, all the voiceovers and all that kind of stuff, but it's coming. And so Quentin has written the 12 episode story arc, and then we got to go back and write the pilot script. And he's actually working on, because you see at the bottom there it says TV Pitch Bible, 5 seasons of shows planned. I had no idea until I took that course that we have to have 5 seasons planned out. But if we do this right, if we actually have the TV Pitch Bible that these people are advising us to have, and we're going to have to do a little bit more work on that. But when we actually have that TV Pitch Bible, we're going to be able to not only pitch it to these 3 companies as our top 3 with our TV executive producer. If you do it right, they just hand it directly to the finance people and it's approved. And so that's what we're in for the next 2 years. So I'm thinking that this is a fantastic way. Instead of us taking money out of the game budget and making a cinematic, by some Hollywood company that has nothing to do with the video game, we make a TV series right in the game engine. So, it's kind of cool. We're actually at that place in technology where that's very possible with the Unreal Engine. So that's very exciting. So, everybody talks about, hey, you should do crowdfunding. Yeah, well, you got to have a crowd. And so that's what we need to do is build up our mailing list. It is growing week by week. We have people being added to it. I don't know exactly what's happening. I know that we've updated the website. That seems to be helping. And so that's wonderful. And so it's going to talk about Intrepid a little bit. So this is a little bit of the layout for Intrepid. So that's the map down here in the bottom corner. Jeffrey has done the layouts. Fantastic job of all that kind of stuff that we've been following. And it's interesting because you can see how this is joined into the other maps on this side, but it's got surrounded by ocean on most of it. The Brood have pushed themselves right back into the, well, I guess it's a lava flow now. Now this has been totally simplified, because before I had the bats and the hummingbird and all, because these are models that we have. So I just thought, well, we'll just pull out, it's like playing the deck of cards that you've been dealt. Right, so these are the models that we have ready to go. They're rigged, they're ready to go. And so what's going to happen? We're not going to lose any of that stuff. So like, for example, the bats. So the story is that, Zach lands, he steps on a branch, and it spooks the bats, and they fly around. Well, we're going to still have that in the game. So when we're pitching and we do the vertical slice walkthrough, that'll still be there. So you'll step on the branch, the bats will go flying. All the animation's done. It's just not going to be in our cinematic. So the cinematic, because it's that length of that song and we want to time everything out, so we're going to do the marmosets first with that croc. So you've seen that in that first video. And then the Komodo, we're going to move into Suiel's. So she's going to drop, and there's a little twist there. I'll try to not do that. Oh, and then have Zach fly in. Now this is actually, if you watch closely in that very first time lapse, there is some birds flying through there, like maybe one frame. If you blink, you'll miss it. So I was thinking, well, why don't we have Zach fly in like that, just like the bird is? And so that was how that idea kind of came about. Anyways, and then there's the epic battle, which I think we want to kind of plan out what the shots are and stuff for that, but that's down the road. So week by week, we'll get there. This is kind of cool revealing this stuff, because most companies don't. You don't ever get to see any of this kind of stuff. You just get to see it's like if you could see the making of Star Wars as they made it, instead of just watching just the finished movie, because they, tight-lip everything and everybody can't talk about it, and it's all NDAs and all that kind of stuff. So we do have to get textures on our buildings and our plants. We do have textures on the land now. So Adrian did these. Joe did this one, to give us an idea what this is going to look like. So there's the kin side with all the lush stuff, the brood with the dead. And so this has been built, not textured, not in the game yet, but it's coming. And just where the Marmoset Village is going to be, what the various quests are going to be for that. Very interesting game to have a first-person shooter that you can be in a really intense game and then walk outside of that and do quests and relax more. I love that idea, where you as the gamer get to set the pace that you want. You're feeling really aggressive, well, go jump into an arena and take some territory. If you're feeling like, oh my god, these guys are just too good and I'm getting creamed, go for a walk outside the arena and just do some quests, enjoy yourself. So that, I love that kind of thing, where the player gets to set the pace instead of us saying this is what the pace is. So that's what that's all about. All right, so the Brood Fortress, a bit of the layout design. The geyser walk. So we've been talking about this. So now that we've got textures on the map, so we're going to begin to put in these holes. These holes are going to drop you right down to the pit. So if you're a player and you drop down the hole, you're going to end up in the pit. Now, you're not going to be banished, but you're going to be down in the pit. You can fly up through the hole. There's going to be geysers. These are water geysers. Sora was talking about lava geysers. So that could be on the Brood side. So that could be something that we don't have designed yet. And these could be ways out of the pit as well. So just another idea. My idea was that, if you're down in the pit, you could come stand on this thing and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. It's going to be delayed if you're standing on it, and then it'll shoot you up into the main level. You are going to be, depending on what kind of shields you got, you're going to be vulnerable, and of course you're vulnerable from players up top that could see you down below. So it's a very interesting play on the gameplay we have. There's the Rune Village. So this has been ruined by the Phoenix. So I mean, the Phoenix scenes in this script and the storyboards were just epic. To me, that's what really made it. And to cut those out, because we don't have the model yet, and to cut those out, oh. But here's what I'm thinking, is all this extra stuff that we did can not only be in the game, but maybe in our first pilot. So these are all things that we can just adopt into our pilot script. So there's some cool thoughts there. Nikita did this. And Nikita, you were very right. It was the occlusion shadows or whatever that was causing the issue in the map. So that's been dealt with. Thank you very much. And then the North Village. So this I have to do some more redesigning on that kind of stuff, but we'll get on to that. Blasted Valley, a little bit more on Blasted Valley. So these are the screenshots. So there's no textures on the plants yet, but Brushify put out a free, I love the word free, version of their texture system. I had no idea it had grass and flowers, and so, this is not us spending a whole bunch of time. This is just me and just a little over an hour painting the map. So this is amazing. So I've got a few issues. One is the snow, the way that it looks. Sometimes it looks really good on one direction and not the other. So I think that's supposed to be like there's more snow on the south side, because that doesn't even make sense. So anyways, there's my walkway under the waterfalls. Anyways, it's starting to come along. We got a lot of work to do still. Again, no textures on any of this kind of stuff. There's textures on the land now, finally. But you can see there's supposed to be a big pack of snow up here. So I've been trying to create a way of doing that. And how I'd like to do that is like Red Dead 2 Redemption 2, where there's a thick snow. So if you trounce through it, it's actually going to put it's like 2 feet deep or whatever. I love to put that in here, like Devin had it. So anyways, so some more screenshots of the map. So I'll be showing this map today. So this is kind of the dead grass, and you can see this is starting to blend better. We still got to unwrap that. So that's exactly what's going on here. This land bridge needs to be unwrapped. We've got a problem with the UV because there's no UV map. Just going to unwrap it with a UV map, and then we've got to fix the normals. So I don't understand all that stuff, but that's what has to happen. And the puddles look just fantastic. And Boyan did up the Kin Castle, so just a placeholder right now, but it's just going to be happening in the back of the scene, so it's going to be fine for right now. I always like to jump in. I want this map to be playable. That's the other thing too, is if I'm not showing Bear Isle, this one's much more performant. Of course, we're doing things right here. That's why it's taking a little longer. But what's the point I'm trying to make here? That I don't have the thrones in the castle and the fortress, so that will happen. And of course, there's no textures on the plants because we want to do them the right way, not just spam a bunch of textures on there. So this is going to be the little marmoset scene that happens here. So the croc scene is going to be here, the first one, and the second one will be here. I think that all turned out really great. This is not lava, that's just some red sand, but I thought it kind of gives me the idea. So I got to put the snowpack in, I need to put lava in, I need to put paths in. I'm going to be purchasing the Brushify path pack because it looks so good, so much better than anything that we could do. So there's the block out for the Brood Fortress. Still got to make a real castle there, or fortress there, but it's coming. And I just kind of updated some of these screenshots and then got the guys' names in it because Devin did all this, so we're gonna honor that. And I need to have the snowpack here because then it makes it look like the water's actually coming from the snowpack. And you can see here the snow's here, but it's not right here, and it's not on the back side of this. So it's kind of weird the way that it functions. And I know you can change all that. I'm just a busy guy, so we'll get to it. And David, yeah, he raised up this lake. So it's very interesting because I was listening to a thing today where the lake is lower than sea level, and I thought, oh, but it doesn't flow to the ocean. So that's the reason that we had to raise it. But some more screenshots of that. Anyways, this map's coming along. You know, you look at things like this, I mean, just absolutely amazing. What's great about Brushify is we can go and change all this, and it'll all adapt to it naturally. This is the land bridge here, so that's why it's looking a little stretched and stuff, because it's not unwrapped. That's the home tree of the brood, so it's not a close tree, just a massive tree far away. But some of these screenshots turned out really good. So we're going to do some hanging vines and stuff just to kind of break up the lines here a little bit. It's going to be absolutely gorgeous. So I can see this being financed, especially with the professionals pitching it. I'm so glad to be able to be focused on the game stuff. So Ryan did the pit here, and he's gone. He's not with us anymore, but so we've got all these bits and pieces and stuff like that. And so Sorab, the message to you is just grow this into the shape of the marmoset design and just use all these pieces. Now so that's what Ryan did. That's what Ryan did. That's what Ryan did. That's what I did. So it's kind of funny. This rock was floating off the ground, so I moved it down. But I made this mushroom. Like, I just took his pieces and stuck them all together, and I moved a couple mushrooms over here. So I was just kind of proud that, hey, you know, it is modular. You can move things around and make things. So I just used his mushrooms that he had made and just made this one. So it works great. I just resized this and just kind of straightened things out and moved them around a little bit just so it's unique. And then just put a couple of the other mushrooms over here, just to kind of, you know, prove to myself that it is modular, and you know, even I can do it. So that's great. There's this really interesting crack, and I tried to fix it by moving these things closer together, and it doesn't work. So I think we're going to just leave that. But that's what's happening there. All right. So more images of the pit by him. If you're the artist that did this, I mean, it's probably rare that you're going to see this, but if you did contact me, I for the life of me, I can't remember who did this. It's probably in one of my old documents or something, but boy, that would be a real guess because this is a really old image. But I'm thinking that for Bane, having the huts would be cool to have these kind of hut that you go in, and then maybe some stairs that go up top, or maybe just a door up top to walk around. So that's for down the road. And this is what Jeff has done for Bane. So it's coming along. So that's exactly what we wanted. Kind of, you know, you go down, down, down into the open pit mine. And then there's the opening to the King Castle. And then that goes to the Bane, which is an underground level. So this is just everything that's above the ground. And Shania did up the waypoint marker. So you're going to be able to find your quests. And so this is just in Bear Isle for the Claw quest, and as you move in, it'll just resize and bring you to where the quest is. There's going to be NPC here. We don't have our NPCs done yet, but that's coming. So this week we might even have an NPC in. So in the Lager Princess will be. So the prince is done already, and the Lager Princess is to follow. And Dylan has been writing the quests. This quest is absolutely riveting. So to be number 2 and already have something that's so riveting. It's just the way that she handles it. I mean, that character is amazing. So this is something that I wanted to do. So we have an idea where you'll get a quest book. So just so you understand what's happening, we've got these outdoor arenas, and they are intense. First-person shooter with RPG role-playing elements. And then outside of that, because our game is so unique and so different, we got to teach you how to play it. And this is how I've been schooled how to do this. You can have a really complex gameplay because people like that, because there's a lot of choices and things you can do. So we've got that. That's easy. But you have to teach people one thing at a time. So how do you do that? Well, this is how we're going to do it. So one of the rewards are going to be in this book of the pits. We're going to show you these images of where you're being banished to, so you get an idea. Because you can't see them. You can see the above ground stuff, but you're being banished to a lower realm. What does it look like? And so it's kind of by accident. Henrique did the pit for Bear Isle, And I looked at it and went, man, that looks like a squid. And then I got the idea, well, what happens if we could show people what the pictures were? And this is all these ideas have just compiled. And so now you get a book, and now you'll be able to go through and go, oh, that's what that pit looks like that I'm being banished to. And then they're all themed. Like this is for Intrepid, so it's the marmoset. So that's the whole idea with the puzzles. So here again, just to go talk to Sorab, we've got the banana puzzle, the color puzzle. So I can see right now that we are missing the let's go think about this, the geyser puzzle. So there should be another one here called the geyser puzzle, which is not really I guess it's not really a puzzle, but yeah. Anyways. And Jeffrey did this up a while ago. I'm thinking that so the fountain is up here. I'm thinking that we'll have the NPC up here, and he's going to send you down to do the quest. And then the strangler plant, which is here, should be on the brood side, not the kin side, because it's an aggressive plant. It would make a lot of sense. You don't want to be landing somewhere near that. So there you go. So we've got our t-shirt design up. We've got our poster up. A couple other things. Go to teespring.com/store/iPlayMore. Enter the code iPlayMore, and you can save $3. And that just helps us out because we don't really have any products yet. But we got those. So that's what we got. All right. Henrique did up the coin. That's why I got his name there. You can go to our Discord channel, and you can earn mana on Discord by being active. So there you go. So that's what that's about. So it says wave hello. So that means turn on my camera. And you can see I'm wearing the shades. So the reason I'm wearing the shades is because my eyes literally physically hurt looking at these computer screens because of the blue light. And so I'm like, well, what can I do? And on my desk are these are from my rock and roll days, these shades. And so I thought, man, I'm going to try that. And they actually work. They do an incredible job of blocking the blue light. So I just want a little warning to everybody. Just be aware that these computer monitors will make you blind. Now, I do 80 hours a week. I've got 2 monitors on. So, I'm probably an extreme case. But this is working, so that's why I have it on. So I just want to explain that to you. And I want everybody to just be aware of how dangerous blue light is. And I can't believe they're selling us these monitors that have this extreme blue light. Well, the other thing I want you to do right now is turn down the brightness on your monitor. Because I just realized all my monitors were fully bright. So, that's just pumping out way too much light. So you don't need that. And there you go. So protect your eyes. All right. So let's go jump into the game. So we're going to jump right into Intrepid today. I'm going to see if I can just kind of make this the main thing instead of talking about Bear Isle. And we still got a lot of work to do, but this is performing really well. Of course, we don't have everything in here, but we do have the landscape textures on. And if I come down here and I just kind of scroll in, you can see it, the amount of detail and grass and plants and flowers and all that kind of stuff. Just absolutely amazing. So it's looking gorgeous. All right, so let's just let's do a little gameplay. So let's hit Alt-P. So again, the thrones are not in the castle fortress because those are not real places yet. And we still got lots to do. The other cool thing is we got the spectator system in. So it's not 100% yet, but it's starting to be built. And we got this thing working now. So you got the kin and the brood. Very cool. We don't have our characters in yet. I think I got a programmer who's going to be able to help Zoran get that done. So that's very exciting. All right. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to jump on there. All right, I'm going to pick this one up. Somehow I got Bear Isle to do this all the time, but it's a different version of the engine, so I'm thinking it's just an engine version issue. So this girl will join Brood. So we're going to get the female announcements here. Oh. So I know how to fix all that stuff. We're trying to figure out why that happens, but that's because I've got objects in the game. Yeah, you see it's going off of this object. So I just got to go turn those rocks off. Zoran showed me how to do all that stuff. So what I'm doing now is the first-person shooter gameplay. And we'll kind of have this all set up when we do our vertical slice cinematic too.
Princess of Thunder.
Now, of course, this is supposed to be back in the fortress over there. A little secret there was you got to wait till that announcement is done, then you've got enough throne energy. Why do you want that? I'll show you. So this is why you want to have 2 throne energies. Secret here is to jump to the middle part. So Brood have a stronghold. You can see my device there. It's been leveled up from 888. Now it's and it's filling up. It's been leveled up to 1332. So that's the benefit of having stronghold. There's no textures on this stuff yet. So just ignore all of that. It looks kind of white. There's no textures on the trees and stuff yet. Just the ground. It looks like all the rocks have shown back up. I did turn all those off. So I'm going to have to go do that again. That's why that we've got rocks. There should be rocks floating in the air over here again. See, it's very weird because I turned all that off. No, these are gone now. Sometimes they seem to be floating, sometimes they seem not to be. So I've seen that issue before. So it's just that, you know, you should do your terrain before you add in your objects. Okay, so she's at the throne here. How do I get her off or away from the throne? So there's a couple ways to do it. I'm going to just push 1 to get my claw, and then I just go up to her and I right click. And it pushes her. Now, if she was on the throne, she'd go up in the air. So I'm collecting throne energy. What's that for? That's for placing thrones. That's what brings your scepter online. So what's in my left hand is not online yet. So if I push F, nothing's going to happen. So I'm going to capture this.
Queen of Dominations.
So last week I wasn't able to do this switch back and forth between the characters, and you know what it was? It was the Microsoft host controller. I've never had that problem before, and I had it again today. I was trying to set that video up to play, and when I set the video up to play, it wouldn't play, and I shut everything down. And you gotta literally shut your computer off, unplug it, and turn it back. Microsoft bugs drive me nuts. Anyway, so she's going to come back to take this. But if I can get to my home base, which is easy because it's not very far away. And all I got to do is touch it.
Empress.
So let's push H to see the HUD. You can see it's on the bottom left. It says, so you see the crown, and it says Sked Empire. So Sked stands for Stronghold Kingdom Empire Dynasty. So I'll go to Dynasty here in a little bit. I push T, and let's say I want to bring my scepter, fire scepter online. I place a fire throne by going S, mouse, and see it's online. And now when I shoot, there we go. So you've got a scepter in your left hand and a device in your right hand. Now, why is that? Well, that's because when we were designing this game, the lead programmer took the restrictions off the game engine, and he said, you guys give it a try. And you know what? It was incredibly fun, but it was very difficult to shoot each other. And he said, oh, I'll put them back on. I said, no, let me design around it. And that's where I came up with the scepter idea, that the scepter, you would attack an enemy with a scepter, like shoot the lightning ornament, slow them down, and then shoot them with your device. And of course, if you're just one guy doing it, it's not going to be very much. But if the whole team is doing it, you know, defending, it's kind of cool. So I can play an Ice Throne, Storm Throne, and that brings all those attacks online for me. Okay, let's go over the other side. Remember, she was here to try to capture this throne, but guess what? It's out. And so she cannot capture this throne anymore. This is something we learned in game testing, was to start with 2 thrones. Okay, so before I get into Throne Wars and all that kind of stuff, you see on my screen there's a find. That's a little shield you can get with your device. So you can see in the shrines that her, so let's just have a look here. She's got a dynasty. So that dynasty is locked in these shrines. So I would have to match these symbols, and of course that doesn't match, to unlock it. Very hard to do when there's one guy and it's a dynasty, because a dynasty is 8. It locks 8 of those shrines, and you got to go visit them in order, and it's random. Ooh, I did it without flying. All right, so I can see the enemy right there, so I'm just going to push the zoom. So you got that weird thing where she's floating up and down opposite. I don't know what that is about. So you heard a lower sound because that's splash damage. Whoops. Yeah. And if I hit her straight on, that's a straight on sound. If I right click, is that right? That's all new. That would never exist in the other game. So it's nice to have that. So here we go for Ultimate Throne Wars. See my score going up? Different scores on right and left clicks. So basically trading energy for points. So I'll usurp her. Okay, a lot of energy. Okay, so yeah, right. That's right. That's right. So her throne has to be put out. Okay, has all the thrones turned blue? No. So we've got this bug that's happening on both sides now, where these thrones should be out. Okay, so we're going to talk to the programmer about that. I mean, I have been, but... So basically what I can do now is come to this last throne, which should be technically mine. Oh, that means you have nothing. It's a little chipmunk laughing at you, son. You got nothing. So over here somewhere over here, there it is. Now this is a rare energy, so you see my device is really low. But if I pick this up, oh, why can't I pick that up? I'll have to ask a question about that too. So now I can fly. It's a little easier to get on my throne. Now I can place another throne.
The camp. Domination.
So even though she had a dynasty, I've taken it away from her, and I've placed this throne. Her crown, even though she's got a dynasty, you see the crown is here. So I could capture that and take that away from her. Let's just do that. Let's just see what's going to happen. I should be able to take the whole thing away from her. I should still have fine, though, shouldn't I? I'm very confused here. Well, she's got find. And she's vulnerable. Okay. See what's going to happen here. So I design all this stuff, but you see the device.
Princess of Thunder.
So that's very weird. It just called me the princess instead of me taking. So that's, I think that's not right. We'll have to think about it. So going to be something cool instead of just putting your hands in. And of course our characters are much bigger. These little girls are just for testing. And then the revolutionary thing is that it just loads again. I mean, it just starts again. There's no loading. Okay, so let's show banishing now. So that's a victory condition. We're having some kind of a weird laggy type issue, so I'm kind of interested because that shouldn't have followed us over here. I'm not exactly sure why that is. The only thing that's happened is textures on the ground, unless there's another issue. Anyways, I'll look into that. I mean, it could be all these rocks too. So we did turn all those off. I don't know why they're back on, but I'll have to go check into that. So I didn't notice that before. Just going to bring her over before she gets any shields and all that kind of stuff before we do any capturing. And just show... Oh, I know what to do. Okay, so... Because I think this is kind of cool. We've got a lot of work to do still. But this is... So I'm going to show the H2O device. Because it's kind of cool because... So you got your right click. Which is a mini guy. Great for tracking somebody through the air. But look at this, we got splash damage now. And if I hit her directly... So you get a verification. On where you miss, where you splash, and where you hit. And the right click. So there's no animation yet. All those barrels are going to spin and all that kind of stuff. You can hear the sound. Okay, I can pick up all her booty. Okay. And so this is what happens to you when you've been banished. So there's no death in our game. I call it a fate worse than death because you're not even in the full game anymore. So what happens? You get banished to a pit. So we're going to have the person scream. It's starting to look like that. Yeah, that's weird. I turned that off. Now it seems like it's back on again. Some weird things happen. Anyways, typical when you're starting to work on a game. We need to measure the jumps because there's a different jump. Because when you're banished to the pit, you lose your wings. Oh yeah, the other thing I wanted to test too was the rare devices. So I've got no shield. I got 15%. I can come over here, open up the chest. This is where your inventory is going to be, where you can put more stuff on. Yeah, the performance is just really strange. I don't know what's going on. I thought we were moving beyond that. Okay, let's come over the other side here. Actually, I want to go... Sorry. I want to get both rare devices, banish again, and just make sure they're dropping. So, I mean, a lot of this is me testing, and then, you know, I watch the video, and then talk to the team and say what we have to change, what we have to do. So that's not the right way either. See, this is the great thing about this new pit design is I really get turned around, and that's exactly what we want. We want you to be down here, confused, wondering what's going on. Okay, I figured it out. Okay, you can see here that my jump doesn't even go to the roof here. So we're going to make things in the pit that make it impossible until you get freedom. Put the rare device one thing about. So it's kind of cool because this is the only place you can get the rare devices. And see, now I can go right up to the ceiling. Because I got my wings back with that power up. So until you get level 25, you're going to be relying on those power ups. So I want to go over here. And all the music you're hearing is mastered. I got 47 songs recorded, edited, mixed, and mastered ready for the game. So if only the game was that easy to make. Okay, so she's got both rare devices. Okay, so here, when you're banished to the pit, now if you're a new player, you're going to go up to 100% shield here. 150 if you level up. But for an experienced player, you're stuck at 44%. I'm going to hit the return. So these are all selectable. I just hit the over arrow. So I can fly. I hit enter. I can turn it off. I hit the over arrow. And now I've got return. And I push enter. And I've returned. So let's go level up my shields. Let's just use the Wolverine. So your game's got recoil. So you see it's pulling me a little faster. Gotta bounce around the mountains there. And you can go to either home tree to level yourself up. So remember, I got 44% shields. I'm maxed out, but under the home trees, the shrine has a special ability. And that's the level up. So there we go. So I'm going to banish her again, so I'm not going to fill them up very much more than that. And the nice thing about visiting the shrines, and you can fill up, and the thrones as well. You can fill up your rare shield. So think of your rare shield as a core shield. And when one of your shields are removed, you've got that backup there. So, okay, so I'm going to have her banish this character again. And we're going to just confirm. Of course, the direct hit does more damage. Of course, the person will be running around, it won't make this easy. So you can see the blue shield's gone, and now I'm hitting the rare. And that's all gone. One more shot. I'm going left and right. When she has no shield, she's still in the game. But she is banished. Okay, so we're just going to make sure. So we got both rare devices here dropped. That's correct. And now I should be able to pick them up. Of course, she would have been using those, and I would have been probably not in a good position. So that seems to be working, and I should have them in my inventory now. I do. All right, that's all working. All right, so we've pretty much showed everything that we need to show today. And no crashes, which is good. I kind of stayed away from the things that I know that we have some issues with. There we go. Anyways, so that's that for today. So make sure you go to iPlayMore.com, sign up for our video game test, and we will be back next week with some more things. I'll expand that. So we're working on the storyboards for the Suiel scene, but we didn't have that done for today. But that'll be done for next week. So anyways, it's VindaCator saying thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, follow, share, comment, all that good stuff. And we will be back next week. Have a good day. And it's VindaCator and I am out.